Well, everyone, we're near the end of our day. We're going to go see the pioneer cabin tree that recently fell. Shouldn't be too far down this path. We're only allowed to go and see it, though. We're not allowed to go past it. Slippery. You can see, in addition to the few trees falling down, the trail also took quite a beating with all the water that just came rushing down it, and it's going to continue to rush down it because of all the snow that's going to be melting. So there's a lot of work actually that needs to be done to the North Grove Trail. It's just real muddy right now and slippery, but it's going to be a lot of work come springtime when the crews come out to fix everything. The water's actually flowing over this footbridge that's designed to keep the water out. But there's so much of it, there's not much that can be done. And here we go. This is a pioneer tree. You can see the trail, let me see from my memory, used to go straight right through the tree, and you can see they've shut it down. I mean, there's obviously no way around it. I mean, this is flooded everywhere. But I mean, look at the size of this tree. That's just a part of the root system, and that right there is the wall. You've got inscriptions on that wall from the 1800s. And you've got, of course, modern ones as well. Now, this tree, the direction that we're going, if it was still standing, you'd be able to look right through it. On the other side, there was a sign, an informational sign, and there was a lone bench that had been put up. That bench, but not the sign, was completely crushed. So that bench is going to be entombed underneath the pioneer cabin tree for the next, I don't know, couple hundred years. Who knows how long it'll take for this to decompose, but these trees, interestingly enough, you know, unlike many trees that decompose, you know, substantially within a few years, these ones don't decompose for hundreds of years. They decompose very slowly. Now, also interestingly enough is when a giant sequoia tree falls, it doesn't just fall like a regular tree like you see on those logging shows. When it falls, it shatters. Like if you were to take a glass plate and just drop it on a hard floor, it would just shatter and go everywhere. So when these trees fall, if someone were to be standing near it, not only would they have to hope they don't get crushed by it, but they'd also have to hope that when it falls, a piece of wood doesn't come flying at them and hit them. Now, thankfully, when it fell, it was in the middle of the snowstorm last week, and that was also mixed with rain, and nobody had been on this trail for a couple hours. But to keep in mind, if the tree had fallen and crushed someone, how would you get this tree off of them? I mean, to recover the body. You know, that's something, you know, to keep in mind, that, you know, it's not as simple as, you know, a normal tree. Oh, just get a crane and lift it. You know, how are you gonna get a crane in here? I had to cut the last little mini lecture a little short. Had a family come up, and they heard me lecturing to the camera, so they started asking me questions. So I was giving an actual little mini lecture about the tree. This, as you know, there's quite a few books on it. So you can really learn a lot, you know, just by cruising the internet about it and whatnot. This tree was actually estimated to be about 2,000 years old. And the big stump tree, or I can't remember what that one is technically called, but the one that's chopped down right after the grove was discovered, that one was actually 800 years younger is what they estimate. So even though this one wasn't as big in width or anything, it was still older. This isn't the only time a tree in this grove has fallen down in modern history, I guess. There's a tree farther down the trail, obviously it's blocked off right now, that fell down, I want to say in the 1860s, 1870s, during a storm in the winter that was similar to this. No one died from that one either, but it's still laying there. And honestly, it really hasn't decomposed that much in over 150 years. I mean, it's decomposed a little bit, but it just shows you how long it takes for them to decompose. And there's another tree that fell down, I can't remember how long ago, but they estimate it was hundreds of years ago, hundreds of years before, you know, Europeans got to the New World. But that tree is actually, if you look at it and compare it to the other tree, it looks quite a bit more decomposed, but it's still, for the most part, still there. Now, you can see right there, that's another trunk clot, and that's actually another tree right there that fell across this one. That one also shattered. You can see the top just popped off, and it's over on the other side now. I've talked to the rangers. They don't seem to know really when they're going to reopen this trail and when that's going to be complete again. I mean, obviously, with this, I mean, they're not going to move anything. I mean, it's a piece of history that's happened, so they're going to have to re-navigate the trail around it somehow, and that could take quite a while because it's not something that they do overnight. There's a lot of environment. They're probably going to have to do an environmental study just to move it, but it will probably eventually be recompleted. It's, you know, even though it fell, I mean, it's still very interesting just to come look at it, because this is the first one, and, you know, obviously well, the first massive one and the well-known one that has fallen in a very long time, maybe even 100 years. First one that's fallen, you know, definitely within the last 50 years, and you know, it's definitely interesting. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little informative video on the Pioneer cabin tree after it fell.